The East End has a collection of place names, like Cambridge Heath, which demonstrate a more rural past. These places were buried beneath concrete and tarmac. Now a completely urban area between Bethnal Green and Hackney, this stretch of the East End was once a desolate stretch of common ground, with marshland stretching to the east and west. The expanse of Cambridge Heath belonged to the old Stepney Manor to the south, and, during the 13th century, records have the heath as being used as common pasture. Long before the mass enclosures of common land during the Middle Ages, anyone could come here to graze their sheep. It must have been a bleak spot to live, though records, from the year 1275, show a single house there. During 1587, John Slater, a merchant tailor of London, took out a 99-year lease on a piece of waste land, measuring 24 by 11 rods on the western edge of Cambridge Heath. But the wild expanses of the heath remained unpopular, and the lease had lapsed by 1652. By the early 18th century, pressure on land increased as London's population grew. Buildings spilled beyond the city and out of Spitalfields. The blasted heath would have been cheap and available real estate, and in 1722, the trustees of Parmiter's Charity bought 4.5 acres of waste land on the west side of the Cambridge Road and on either side of Hackney Road. The charity had its beginnings in the will of Thomas Parmiter, a silk merchant, who was also to endow 6 almshouses and 1 free schoolhouse in Bethnal Green. This was to grow into Parmiter's Grammar School in Approach Road. Parmiter leased out parcels of land to East Enders. The early inhabitants of Cambridge Heath were artisans and skilled men. Development started in earnest in 1786. It's here we see the real transition of rural into urban, when the Middlesex countryside was buried beneath the East End we know today. Parmiter's leased its entire estate to Wilmot, who built 6 houses on the site before selling his plot on to William Lovell, who built another 5. By 1800, Cambridge Place formed the northwestern boundary of the new estate, with Howard's Place and Heath Place, and the Hare Public House fronting the Hackney Road and Cambridge Road. This was the era of the small entrepreneurial builder. Andrew Pritchard, a tile maker of Hackney Road, contracted Woolwich bricklayer William Olley to build a terrace of houses in Hackney Road butting up against a factory. John Scott, an Islington brickmaker, took the central part of the estate, building Prospect Place in Russia Lane and Potter's Row. To the east of Cambridge Road, a 5-acre site belonging to Bishop's Hall was leased to the London Society for Promoting Christianity Among the Jews, who built Palestine Place. Patriot Square was developed in the 1790s. By the early 1800s, the old Bethnal Green Road had an almost continuous frontage of buildings along it, although there remained acres of waste land within the old heath. It was now split between 8 estates: Seabright, Bullock, Parmiter, Rushmead, Cambridge Heath, Chambers, Pyott and Bishop's Hall. The gaps quickly disappeared as the estates squeezed as many new streets and buildings as they could onto the fast disappearing land.